Willkommen! My name is Sean Huggins. I'm an American living in Germany, and on this channel, I'm looking to learn all about life in Germany and Europe in general through watching silly videos and stuff on the internet with you guys. So, if you enjoy, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day. And today's comment of the day comes from John Hazelwood, 58. And they say, Americans, how are you? Germans, don't get me started. Germans get a bad rap for complaining about everything. Americans get a bad rap for saying, how are you? As kind of a way of just saying hello. You bring the two together and you got a deadly combination. John, thank you so much for the comment. But let's get straight into today's reaction. So today we're taking a look at Feli from Germany. Specifically, 5 things that are common in the United States, but don't exist in Germany. I'm curious what this list is. I can think of a lot of things that exist in America but are not in Germany. But let's see what she came up with. So, without further ado, los geht's.
I'm currently going back and forth between the US and Germany quite a lot, and these 5 things are totally common for me whenever I'm here in the US, but don't exist in Germany.
All right, let's get into it.
Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. Now, I just came back from Germany in October, and while I was there, I made this video where I talked about 5 essential everyday things at my parents' house in Munich that are totally common in Germany, but that I never see in the US. So today, I want to talk about...
I already reacted to that video. You can check that out. It'll be linked in the description. Anyways,
5 things that are common here in the US that aren't really a thing in Germany. Number 1 is air conditioning. Now, of course, the technology of air conditioning does exist in Germany, and you can buy air conditioning units in Germany, but having AC in your home is very uncommon. Whereas here in the US, I'd say it's pretty standard. Most houses will have what's called a central HVAC system. HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So you'll have air ducts going through the entire house, Luftschächte in German, with an opening vent in every room usually. Sometimes they're at the floor, like right here. Sometimes they're in the wall or even in the ceiling in some cases. And this system is used for both heating and cooling. In the winter, the air will typically get heated up with a furnace in the basement before it gets blown into the air ducts. In the summer, the air will get cooled by an AC unit that usually sits outside like ours. Ours also comes with a free outdoor cat. Her name's Bella. Houses from the 1960s, 70s, and later were usually built with these systems, but in many older homes like ours, the HVAC system had to be added later, like it happened in our case.
Same with me.
Instead, many people...
My house in America is actually over 100 years old, and they didn't have air conditioning 100+ years ago. Believe it or not. Some people might not know that, but I know that because I got an American education, paid $300,000 for it. It's actually interesting because my house runs these air ducts through all of the old chimneys, all the old fireplaces in the house in order to get the air ducts where they have to go, instead of having to tear down the walls, put them through the walls, and then rebuild the walls because they're all made out of solid brick. So that would be very, very hard and expensive. At any rate, let's continue.
Use portable AC units like this one or these window units. You'll actually see these in a lot of windows in the US, especially in areas with lots of old buildings or low income areas. Those houses then often have radiators for heating, which is also how we heat our homes in Germany. In total, over 90% of American households have some type of air conditioning, and it's also standard in commercial buildings and businesses, including grocery stores and even schools. In Germany, on the other hand, only
not all schools, but yeah.
30% have any type of AC at home, and even in commercial buildings, it's not something you can really expect. Newer buildings often do have AC, older buildings not so much. Grocery stores in Germany usually only cool the fridges and not the entire stores, and when it comes to AC in schools, Knowing Germany, those will be the very last places to ever get AC. I mean, they also still use overhead projectors. I think the only place where AC
Nice.
is truly common
Same in America,
Germany is
some
in
places.
cars. Reasons for this difference are, of course, the different climates. Large parts of the US get extremely hot temperatures, while summers in Germany are a lot milder. But I also think
that's a big misunderstanding that a lot of Europeans have about America and just how insanely huge America is, just from a landmass standpoint, and how diverse the climates are all over America. It is way more diverse than I think a vast majority of Europeans know. There's some places in America, not all places, not most of America, but some places in America where if you don't have air conditioning, you die. Not a joke, not exaggerating. You die. I don't know why humans in general would live in a place like that, but hey, who am I to judge?
Here. To break it down,
anyways,
this is what it looks like when a house is being built in the US typically, while this is what you'll see in Germany. Lots of brick and concrete, which on hot days usually keeps the heat out a little bit better than American homes do. And those window units don't even really work with German windows, unfortunately, even though more and more Germans are getting a portable AC unit like this one. And
it's also worth noting that energy prices in America are way cheaper than they are in Germany. So having an air conditioning unit costs substantially less to run in America than in theory it does in Germany. That's another thing to think about.
Speaking of windows, number 2 on my list is window screens. Most windows in the US are slide.
This is true. I never thought about this.
Windows, but once you've opened up the actual window part, there's usually a second layer with a bug screen. I think the purpose of this is self-explanatory. It's to keep all of the insects from coming into your home when you open the window.
And you can keep the windows open.
You can slide these open too if you want to, or even take them out altogether. They're also great when you have indoor cats that like to sit by the window, like ours, because you can open the window for them without having to worry that they climb outside.
Hi, doggy.
Now, of course, the concept of bug screens exists in Germany, but most windows in Germany don't come with a pre-installed bug screen like this one, which is very shocking to many Americans when they travel to Europe for the first time. My parents actually did install screens in front of some of our windows when I was little, but they were permanently stapled to the window frame, so it wasn't quite as practical as this.
Me and Issa put bug screens in our windows here at the apartment, but it's just like a cheap kit that we got off of Amazon, and you like stick it up in the window, kind of like a sticker, like a double-sided sticker type of thing. And they work great, so I can't complain. It's nice to be able to keep the windows open and not have to worry about bugs coming in all the time, at least not nearly as many.
When you look for it though, you'll see that there are in fact more professional solutions for bug screens that work with German windows, but I personally have never seen any of those used in real life in Germany. Not quite sure why, to be honest, because even though of course we don't have as many insects as people in Florida do, for example, we still have enough for this to be worth a shot. Next up, we have something that many American households have in their kitchens, in their sink to be more
Things that American households have in their sink, a gun?
Exact. Now, we don't actually have one, but I figured I'll just stand next to the sink anyway for
the classic sink gun. Every American has one.
Is, drumroll,
sink gun.
A garbage disposal. I have never seen those before I moved to the US, and
Unbelievable. How did I get that wrong?
I thought they were absolutely genius when I first saw them.
Garbage disposals they're not the most useful thing. I have one at my house in America, and it's nice to have, but it's definitely not necessary. I mean, it was already in my house when I bought it, and I was just like, sure, why not? But I don't know if I would buy an extra one just to have it, because
I've heard that there are also many reasons that kind of speak against them. But first, what even is a garbage disposal?
What is it? Tell me more.
That's built into the sink drain to shred things like food leftovers so that they don't clog the drain and can be conveniently flushed down with the water. There's usually a switch next to the sink, like a light switch, that turns the garbage disposal on and off. It's super important to never ever stick your fingers in there, by the way.
I'm looking forward to learning.
Yeah, it's a blender. It's just straight up a blender. If you put anything down there, it's getting shredded with blades. So don't stick your hand down there.
You will get your arm out of there before Lily gets to the garbage disposal switch.
Oh my.
Now, even though we don't have a garbage disposal in this house, I did have one in a few of the places that I lived in before, which actually kind of lines up with the official statistic that says that about 50%, so half of American households, do have a garbage disposal. Meanwhile, in Germany, they're actually illegal in most municipalities, and they're very uncommon in most other countries of the world too. Now, there's a whole debate about whether or not flushing shredded food leftovers down the sink drain is bad for the environment and for the plumbing.
Yeah, I don't care enough to get into that argument. I'm just gonna say they're not really that useful to begin with. Like, I have one because it came with the house, but I don't think I would buy another one. They're not like that convenient. Anyways, let's continue.
However, I'm not an expert on that, so we're not gonna get into that here.
Me too, girl. I'm not getting into it.
There is a debate, but either way, what's for sure is that it's very convenient.
No, it's not. I don't agree. It's not that useful. The only time it's convenient is if the sink seems to maybe be a little bit clogged or something, and I would flick it on and grind up all the stuff that's getting stuck in there, and then it would just go down fine. But mostly, I'm putting any extra giant food particles in the trash. I'm not putting it down the frickin' sink and blending it up anyways. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't use it right or don't use it at all.
And we're staying in the kitchen because one item that's very
giant
common
refrigerators,
in the US,
giant refrigerators,
especially here in the Midwest, and that many Americans desperately
or
miss
gun.
when they move abroad.
Refrigerator gun.
This ranch. Yep, you heard right, Americans.
Okay.
Ranch is not a thing in the rest of the world. Even in the UK, which
really have I seen ranch in Germany? You know what? I think that I haven't. Maybe she has a point.
A lot of cases is a little more similar to
American don't remember
culture.
Seeing any ranch in Germany.
It's not something that you'll find on restaurant menus or in people's fridges.
Never really thought about it.
I've really never come across this in any country other than the US and
Wow.
Canada. Now, those of you not from the US are probably wondering, why is she holding a bottle of yogurt dressing in the camera? Well,
yogurt dressing. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, yogurt dressing. That's close to ranch.
Is in fact a type of salad dressing, even though it doesn't really have that slightly sour taste of yogurt that you might expect. It actually took me a while to get used to the flavor when I first came here because my brain didn't really know which category to place this in. But don't worry, I've since come to love and appreciate it. It's made from buttermilk, mayonnaise, onion, mustard, herbs, and a few other ingredients.
Wow.
And it's not only the most popular salad dressing in the US, it's also commonly used as a dip for things like chicken wings, veggies, and even pizza.
Yeah, ranch is basically a side for dipping your actual food in a lot of restaurants in America.
Most American pizza places give you a selection
or households,
of dips with your pizza, but it's also just become a flavor in the US. So there are ranch flavored chips, for example.
This is true.
There's ranch flavored sour cream, and there's
Yo, Doritos Cool Ranch. Oh, dude, Doritos Cool Ranch are so good.
Ranch flavored seasoning in powder form that people put in all kinds of things like marinade, chili, or even on popcorn. That's a whole other culture shock, by the way. Now, I'm sure that if you look for it, you can buy ranch in certain stores in Germany, and some American-themed restaurants might have it too, but it's not a common thing, and most Germans have never heard of this, let alone tried it. So if you ask for ranch dressing at a German restaurant, they'll probably have no clue what you're talking about. Okay, we moved into the car because the last point on my list has to do with driving, particularly driving too fast, which
driving gun,
not do.
Car
in
gun.
the US, it's very common to see cop cars sitting on the side of the road, even on interstates, watching the traffic. They'll be on the shoulder, in the median, and often even hidden behind a curve or a bridge. And if they
Yo, run it back. Yo, what is this cop car? This is the cop car from Tokyo Drift. Look at this thing. Holy crap, that's hilarious.
Or a bridge. And if they see someone who's speeding,
this is true,
or driving suspiciously, or committing some other type of traffic violation, they'll go after them and pull them over for a traffic stop. And if you actually did something wrong, they might give you a ticket right then and there, which can actually get pretty expensive. Speeding tickets, for example, are usually over $100 in the US and can go as high as several $100s. And I think most people, even outside of the US, have probably
I don't get speeding tickets because I follow the rules.
Heard of cases where a traffic stop escalated and ended in a tragedy. That's not the norm, of course, but it does happen. Now, I've never actually been pulled over myself in the US, but I have been a passenger when other people were pulled over before. And I will say it's definitely intimidating. So I honestly really hope that I will never get pulled over and never have that experience. Because I think especially as a foreigner who's not a citizen, I'd get really nervous and probably forget all about the smart tips about how you're supposed to act during a traffic stop and just freeze. Now, traffic stops do it.
If you get stopped by the cops in America while driving, you pull over and roll down your window. They walk up to your window and then they tell you what to do, and you just do what they tell you to do. Answer their questions, give them the paperwork that they need, and that's it. That's all you gotta do.
Exist in Germany, but it's not the main way of how speeding violations are tracked, and seeing a cop on the side of the road like that is not common at all, especially on the interstate, aka the Autobahn. I'd probably think that the cop car broke down if I ever saw that in Germany. Instead, speeding is typically monitored with radar cameras that are set up temporarily in certain spots, or sometimes even
Wow, look at this guy, dude. This guy is blitzing everybody. Oh my God.
Stay there permanently. We call them Blitzer colloquially, so flashers, because they take a picture of you when you're going over the speed limit.
Flashers are something different in America. You don't want to get flashed in America.
A bright flash, and then you'll usually have a letter in the mail a few weeks later with the fine.
We have speed traps, we have blitzers in America as well, but in Germany, I'll tell you what, at least in my area, I don't know if it's like this all over Germany, but in my area, they have a blitzer in almost every single town, which is way more common than in America. In America, we have them, but they're not quite as common. In Germany, they are freaking everywhere.
Used to be relatively low in Germany, but they actually raised them a few years ago, so now I think they go anywhere from 50 euros to several hundred. But when I was young, some speeding tickets were only like 15 euros. What are some other things that are totally common in the US but don't really exist in Germany?
Guns. But actually though, something that is very common in America that isn't common in Germany, let me think. Having your own large yard or garden. I would say that that's a lot less common in Germany than it is in America. German neighborhoods are a lot more condensed, and basically everything in America is a lot more spread out. So you naturally just have a lot more land in general to deal with in America. Other than that, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of things, but I'll pass it off to the experts. That's you guys. What are some things that are common in America that aren't so common in Germany? Or the other way around, what are some things that are common in Germany that aren't so common in America? Let me know down in the comments below. At any rate though, that's all the time that I have for today. If you enjoy, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day. Check the links in the description for all of my other social media, including my vlog channel. Thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.